Welcome, sweet friends, to the channel Frugal Money Saver. I have missed you guys so much. These Friday videos are wonderful and we're getting so much done and we're able to help Paul's parents so much more. It's been a blessing, but I miss you guys on Tuesday too. So it's so great to be here with you today. We're going to be sharing some vintage ways that we think can help you save money here in our modern times. We're going to be heading outside. We're going to be heading into the kitchen. We have a special introduction. You are going to be meeting Beatrice. Who's Beatrice? Stick around and find out. So sit back, relax, and let's get right to this video. We're finally getting warmer here in the Northeast. Though last night was like 44 degrees, so we're slowly getting there. But everything is in bloom here and it's absolutely beautiful. So today we want to get outside with you, just show you what's going on in our gardens. We also want to share with you a care tip for one of our favorite shrubs. It's not only known for its aroma and its beauty, but also for its longevity. This plant can last at least 100 years. So what's so wonderful about that is when we moved into our home, it was here years and years before, and it's still going strong. And we're going to show you how to care for it and just so many other things that we're going to share outside with you right now. So let's turn the camera around and get back to some simple living.
This is what Emmy was talking about. This is the lilac, an old-fashioned, old-time, beautiful bush that can last over 100 years. Well, now the lilac buds are done. They're finished. These plants are absolutely beautiful, and just with a little bit of trimming, they'll last a lifetime. These things are gorgeous. So here's your flower when they're done. Now what's interesting about lilacs is if you can deadhead these flowers and trim out some of the dead branches that appear, the lilac will put out its buds for next year now and keep those buds throughout the winter. It's important to deadhead these old flowers right away so that they can generate new flowers for next year. Now when you prune these, you want to look for the new leaves underneath the old flower. There they are. So this is a perfect place to trim, just like that. Same thing over here. Also, if you find a small dead branch, take that out the same way. Okay, this guy just didn't make it, so we're going to take him out a little bit at a time. I want to see if he's still green. Nope, he's dead.
We received a bunch of flower packets in the mail, and what we're going to do is just plant them around our mailbox. This area gets bombarded with road salt in the winter time, so not a lot grows there. So what we're doing is just roughing up the soil all around the mailbox. Paul gathered buckets of really good fertile soil from our lower property, and now he's just going to rake that in to enrich that soil. Now we're just planting the packets of wildflower seeds and all the different flower seeds. And we're hoping that this will just generate some pretty flowers around the mailbox. After all the seeds are planted, he's just gently taking the back of the rake and covering all the seeds. And we will monitor them, we'll water them, and keep an eye, and hopefully this will just be an area of beauty. Our fig trees are amazing. Look at them so far. There's our wild rose bush from last summer. It wintered beautifully in the garage. Let's hope we get a good harvest of figs this year. We wanted to share that tip on how to prune a lilac bush with you. Lo and behold, we were pruning our lilac bush for years the wrong way. We were pruning it in the fall and in the winter. That's usually when you prune your plants. Well, just like azaleas, you have to prune them soon as the blossoms fade. And we did that this year. Hopefully next year we'll have even more flowers and it will be even more beautiful. As you saw, our pear tree has got beautiful pears on it, and hopefully our fig trees will be producing figs, so we'll have some extra food to go along with our garden. We cannot stress enough the old-fashioned wisdom of growing some of your own food if you are able. We're going to be showing you container gardening within the next week or two, so even if you don't have a huge plot of land, you can still grow some tomatoes and basils and peppers really simply in simple containers. So stay tuned for that. Another wonderful vintage habit that we need to become accustomed to and really live by is zero food waste. And preserving food the correct way and then using up that food before it wastes is an integral part of old-fashioned simple living. We're going to show you what happened to those strawberries that we put in a glass jar, almost 2 weeks ago. How did they do? What did we do with them? We're going to turn this camera around and we're going to get into the kitchen and do some vintage cooking. Here you go. It's been 12 days since I put these strawberries into this jar and put them in my refrigerator. I've been checking them every day to make sure there was no mold on them because I didn't want to waste them. So I'm going to open. Ooh, did you hear that? When I opened it, it actually gave a little poof of air. Look at these. Oh my goodness, they smell wonderful. The smell of strawberry is overpowering. I never can keep strawberries for more than a couple of days in their original container without them molding. These are perfect. This tip of putting them in a glass jar and putting them in your refrigerator unwashed really worked. What a great way to extend the life of your berries. Now let's make something super old-fashioned and delicious with them. We're going to be cooking out of this wonderful cookbook, circa 1950. Oh my goodness, look at these pictures. This is the Culinary Arts Institute Encyclopedic Cookbook. It has got amazing meal plans for every month of the year and also lunch plans for every month of the year. Just a beautiful cookbook. Today, because of those beautiful strawberries we had, we're going to be making this recipe right here. Strawberry coffee cake. If you'd like to take a screenshot of that, go right ahead. And we're going to create this old-time nostalgic dessert. First thing we're going to do is take our 2 cups flour, 2 teaspoons baking powder, and 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Yeah, that's not going to work, Emmy. And we're just going to sift that all together. I don't have a sifter. I just use a fine mesh strainer, tapping it gently, and it works fine. And I'm also going to sift 6 tablespoons of sugar as well. Now it says to cut in a 1/3 cup of shortening. I don't even have shortening in the house, so I'm going to do a 1/3 cup of butter. And I'm just taking my potato masher and cutting the butter in. You could use a pastry blender, you could use 2 forks, whatever works for you. So we got it nice and crumbly. The butter all mixed in. I'm going to add a 1/3 cup of milk and 1 egg. And then I'm just going to take my whisk and whisk this together until it is incorporated. I switched over to a spatula just so I could get it incorporated. The batter feels a little dry. I just got one of my butter wrappers out of the refrigerator, and I am greasing a round cake pan. It is not telling me the size of the cake pan to cook it in. So, hey, I'm going to use a regular 9-inch cake pan. Remember, save those butter wrappers in your refrigerator. They make a great greasing tool. The batter came out like a dough almost. So, listen, we're trying this together. We're keeping it real. It said to spread it on the bottom of the pan, but this is not spreadable. I'm actually like pushing it down. And now it said to lay the strawberries on top. I took 8 large berries and just sliced them. They said about 1.5 cups, and this is just about probably what this is. In this same bowl, I mixed the dough in because why have extra dishes? I added 3 tablespoons of butter, 3 tablespoons of flour, and 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Now, it did call for regular sugar, but I think brown sugar will be perfect in this. And now we're just going to mix this all together with our fork. What strawberry coffee cake would be complete without a dash of cinnamon? So I am adding some cinnamon to this. You don't have to. The recipe did not call for it, but I think it's just going to enhance the flavor of the strawberries and the cake all around. And now I'm just going to take this crumbly mixture and put it right on top of our strawberries. Oh my goodness. We're going to put this in a 400-degree preheated oven for about 25 to 30 minutes. We'll check it to make sure it's done. It smells heavenly. I just took this out of the oven. It cooked for 30 minutes. I put a toothpick in. It came out clean. Oh, wow. It smells wonderful. It cooked up beautifully. So we're going to let it cool completely, and then we'll show you. The cake was absolutely delicious. But you know we keep it real. It was just a little bit dry. I would add just a little bit more milk. I really would, and I think it would be perfect. It was tasty and everyone enjoyed it, but just a little crumbly. So if you make this recipe, just add a little bit more milk and I think it will be spot on. Creating food from scratch from these vintage cookbooks to us is so heartwarming. It's so basic and we love it. And we truly strive to capture that simple living, that frugal lifestyle that so many before us had. They were so conscious of everything they owned and put it to the best use they could. And if there was surplus of food, of baking, of harvest, they were always quite willing to share with family and friends so that nothing went to waste and everyone ate well. We shared with you on last week's video the Too Good To Go app. Paul and I talk about this all the time. Our landfills are filled with wasted food. And if we can save some of that food at a frugal, economical price and eat it and use it and share it, then we've done our part. We use the app again, and we want to share with you what we found this time and if we thought it was worth it. This is a great economical way to pick up extra food. And what is so great about this extra food you pick up with the app, it's already prepared. So you're getting food that's made already for you. So you're not heating up the kitchen and you are saving substantially. You're actually saving 75% off the retail price. So to us, it is a win-win. We save a ton of money using this app. We've only used it twice, but it's almost like taking an old-fashioned way to share food, save money, and bring it into today's modern society. So let's turn this camera around and see what we got. What we did was we used the Too Good To Go app yet again. But this time, instead of a restaurant, we went to a local bagel and bakery place. This bag cost us $3.99. We have no idea what's in it. We're opening it with you. So let's see what we got. Everybody ready? Let's see. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's a croissant, a chocolate croissant. We have got a apple turnover maybe. We have got a giant croissant. And then, oh my goodness, one. $13 bagels. Wow. What we will do with these is we are going to slice them and put them in the freezer. They will stay beautifully. This cost $3.99. One bagel at our local bagel shop is about $1.50. So we just kept this out of the landfill. We have my brother coming to visit soon, so I cannot tell you. I am going to slice these. We're going to freeze them. Oh my goodness, $3.99. Look at this. We are in love with this app. We really, truly are. You know, it's funny how things work out. I went to a church social with a girlfriend of mine the other day, and this was one of the prizes I won. A bagel slicer. Can you believe it? And I'm like, what am I going to do with this? Well, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do with this. We're going to cut 13 bagels and freeze them immediately. Paul's popping that in. Goodness, if you have anything like this, please be careful. Oh, wow. Well, this is going to save us a bunch of time. Perfect. We really do love this app. Now, no one is sponsoring us or paying us or giving us free food to say this about the app. But we are all about saving money here on this channel. That is our goal, for you to live a full, abundant life, but yet spend less money. And this app is one way we can take the past of extra food not going to waste and bringing it into today. For $3.99 or $4.99, you could eat for several days on what one of these restaurants will give you at the end of the day. I will link the original video down below that explains the Too Good To Go app in full. Now for our final segment, and one that is near and dear to my heart, is something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. And that is to start from scratch a sourdough starter. So that is exactly what we did. I wanted to do it back in January, but it was so cold and they said that it really needs warmth to grow and flourish. So we started it now. You're only going to see 4 days of the starter, but come back next week. We're going to continue on, and we're also going to share what we do with this no discard sourdough starter. We're going to be making bread. We're going to show you recipes using the discard next week. So make sure you come back. And of course, there'll be a ton of other stuff in the video as well. Turn this camera around. Let's get into the kitchen and meet Beatrice. This is as simple as we can keep it. You're basically going to need a digital scale, some flour, some water, and a glass jar that is clean and dry. First thing we're going to do is tare our scale so it is at 0 with the glass jar. I have looked at so many recipes, like I said. We're just going to go with the basic. We don't want to be discarding. We don't want to be wasting. So this is the way we're going to do it. So I'm going to add 2 ounces of water. And we're going to be just using regular all-purpose flour, but it is unbleached. Please make sure it is unbleached. Now I'm using my wide mouth funnel, but I'm not going to let it touch because it'll change the weight. Now I have to add 2 ounces of flour, which will bring the jar up to 4 ounces. 4.1, I think will be okay. I'm using a barbecue fork because I can get in there. And what I'm going to do is just mix this. We don't want any big clumps of flour. It's going to be thick, almost like a paste it looks like. I'll show you in a minute. Do you see how thick that is? Now, lo and behold, this is going to capture the natural yeast that is in the air. Now, I'm going to take a lid and I am just going to put it on loosely. Make sure it's not tight. Just let it sit on there loosely. I'm going to set this aside for 24 hours and then we'll get on to day 2. We'll see you tomorrow. Good morning. We would like to introduce Beatrice the baker. We did not want to name her until we were sure that Beatrice was going to take off. Well, it is day 2. Let's peek at Beatrice. Look at the bubbles. Oh my goodness, Beatrice has bubbles already. Beatrice is hungry and we need to feed her again. So we're going to do exactly what we did yesterday. We're going to put in 2 ounces of flour. Okay, so we've got 2 ounces of flour. We're going to tare it and we're going to add 2 ounces of water. There we go. Again, I'm using the barbecue fork. I am just taking it and mixing everything together. Let's keep this as uncomplicated as possible. We're going to loosely cover Beatrice again. Again, you're not tightening it. And we're going to put her back up on the fridge till tomorrow morning when we'll feed her again. It's the morning of day 3 and Beatrice the baker needs to be fed again. As you can see, the bubbles are looking great. There are bubbles everywhere. So I'm going to set the funnel on, which why I didn't think of this before, and then re-tare it. And we're going to add 2 ounces of flour. And we are going to add our 2 ounces of water. Okay, perfect. Now we're going to give her a good mix again. She's doing beautiful. There's bubbles. It is great. What we did was we put the rubber band here. This will be a good way to see how much she's growing. Going to take the lid and just set it on. Do not tighten it. And back to the top of the refrigerator, Beatrice goes. See you tomorrow, Beatrice. Good morning, Beatrice. It's day 4. We have some bubbles, but not a tremendous amount. So I am going to have to watch Beatrice very carefully today. We're going to feed her right now. It got cold here last night. It went down to 44 outside. And what we did was we put the oven light on and set Beatrice in the oven with the light for the evening just to keep her warm because her internal temperature should be about 75, and when I checked it this morning it was. The oven was not on, just the light for the oven, and that kept her nice and toasty. She didn't double yet, but they said that could happen around the 6th day, so we'll see. Okay, we're going to add her 2 ounces of flour, and then we're going to add the 2 ounces of water. We're going to give her a mix. As soon as we fed Beatrice, the bubbles started again, which is wonderful. So she was hungry. We still have many days of feeding our sourdough starter before it's ready. So we will take you along on our journey all the way. We are so engrossed in this sourdough starter. I know I'm probably going to get comments saying, oh, you need to discard some of that starter. We're trying it a different way. We did a lot of research. A lot of times people discard the sourdough starter just because there's too much of it. But I guarantee you we will not be doing that. We will be sharing recipes on how you can use that sourdough starter. So Beatrice is alive, she's well, we're learning as we go, we're doing tons of research on this to make it successful, not only for us, so that when we finally share the finished product with you, it will be spot on. We are so excited that you shared this time with us. Thank you so much. Today begins what we know as Memorial Day weekend, and it's a time to remember all of those who gave the ultimate sacrifice for our country. Everyone who is presently serving now in our military, our thoughts and prayers are with you daily. So thank you, thank you. Today's question of the day, do you have any plans for the weekend? Are you going to do a barbecue? Are you going to have a gathering? Are you going to a memorial service maybe? Please share down below what you're doing this weekend. We just want to connect with you, hear how you're doing, what you're doing. And if you have a special Memorial Day menu, share it with us down below. I know it will not only encourage Paul and I, but our viewers as well. And also, don't forget, on Tuesdays, I always post a short video. You're only allowed 60 seconds for a short video, but we always put one out just to let you know we're thinking of you and share a little hint or tip in that as well. If you haven't subscribed yet, we are so close to 50,000 subscribers. Hit that button, come on in and be part of our Frugal family. Please give this a big thumbs up. It helps us so much. Remember to be well. Remember to stay safe. And above all, we wish you blessings. Until our next video, may God greatly bless you.